So we're going to take a look at removing a 360 camera rig with SkyBox Studio in After Effects. Here I am inside of After Effects. We actually sent a clip from our Premiere Pro sequence over into After Effects just to get rid of a tripod that you see here. We're not really able to work with After Effects' cloning tools very easily without the help of Mettle's SkyBox Studio. One part of Studio is SkyBox Composer that you'll see here. And this is a script. Once you download this and place this into your script UI folder, you can access it from the window menu, SkyBox Composer. Now I use this so much in After Effects that I actually have a SkyBox workspace, which just brings up my Composer window or that script. And here you'll see here on your timeline in After Effects, the clip that we brought over that got placed into an After Effects comp. Now, in order for us to get rid of this tripod, what we need to do in SkyBox Composer is to add a 2D edit. Once I do, the most important thing is that I need to select a composition with the footage. And that footage happens to be this 2.5 linked comp. I want to change the width of this comp from the 1920 to 4096 to show you here on my footage. I'm going to make sure we use a 2-node camera, and I'm just going to add this as a 2D edit. Once I do, a bunch of things are going to happen. The script is going to handle a bunch of cool stuff for us. It's going to create 2 new sequences. So I've got my original comp right here in the timeline. Then I've got what's selected, which is the SkyBox V2 edit. This is the most amazing thing, is that it's actually given us an After Effects camera that we can move around our scene. And this is where we can do our cloning. So I'm going to just press C, and C activates the After Effects camera tool that you can see up here. It's called the Unified Camera Tool. If I click and drag, I can then find my tripod. And I want to remove this using some cloning techniques here in the background. Now, the way that we work with the cloning tool in After Effects is that we essentially need to select the composition, this intro to After Effects pre-comp. I'm going to right click, and we want to open this as a layer. And once we do, we'll be able to now clone or paint over this actual tripod. After Effects has this dedicated cloning tool, and I'm just going to click it here on the toolbar in order to select it. And a cool little trick is if you hold down the Control key and click with your mouse, you can make that larger or smaller. I'll make it a little bit larger. And I'm just going to choose an area to clone with. And on my PC, if I hold down the Alt key, that's the area that I'm going to use as what to clone over. Now, if you're curious about the settings of the clone tool, you can see them over here in the paint panel. You can see my duration is set to constant. And a very important thing is that my current time indicator is at the beginning of this SkyBox output edit comp. Now, if I option click, let's just say that this I'm going to use as the initial cloning area. I'm going to now just go over here to the middle of the tripod. I want to click and start to paint over this area. And you'll see pretty much with ease, I was able to get rid of the majority of that tripod. Now there is a bit of a shadow over here. And if I wanted to get rid of that, I'm going to sample yet another area. And I can choose a few different ones, but I kind of like this texture right here of this brick. So I'm just going to sort of choose an area over here to replicate by Option/Alt clicking. I want to click right over there, the shadow, and then just start to paint. And that is how easy it is for me to sort of create or paint over that tripod. If I just move my current time indicator, I always love to check just to make sure that that whole area is filled in, which it is. Of course, I could spend a little bit more time perfecting this, but I think that's good enough to demonstrate how easy it is to work to paint out a tripod here. Now, I'm going to click the X to close out the layer level here in After Effects. And now I'm back in my SkyBox V2 edit. Here's where the magic happens. If I go to my Open Output Render, it's going to jump me to this composition right here. Okay, so I'm just going to open the output render, and you'll see there that everything has magically disappeared. So this is just awesome, right? I was able to, with a click of a button, have SkyBox Composer create 2 new compositions, one which I can paint in to remove that tripod, and the other which is now set to my export so that I can render this out. Now there's one very important thing that you should know that's not happening in Premiere Pro right now. So I'm just going to go back to show you. And the biggest problem right now is that Premiere Pro is still linking to the original composition that you sent over. i.e., if I go here into After Effects, this is my output comp. it's linking to my comp 3. So what we need to do in the next movie is actually bring in the SkyBox V2 output comp to link to and place it on our timeline with the appropriate paint. So that's just one thing that we have to do as an extra step, but it's well worth it to have that ease and flexibility of working with SkyBox Studio and SkyBox Composer to simply get rid of a tripod. And you can use this workflow for stabilization for harder tripod paints, but just keep in mind, we want to make sure that we have to bring in that SkyBox V2 output back into Premiere Pro as our final step. I will see you guys in the next movie.